What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Friday video, and got some bad news today. I think I may have lost all of my shrimp. So we're taking a look at the 8-gallon Cobalt tank again this week, and before we get to talking about the demise of the shrimp population in this tank, let me catch you guys up on what else has been going on. The guppies in this tank are all doing well, so there's nothing to worry about there with them. In fact, I traded off some of them, and their numbers have jumped back up. So I'd say they are happy, thriving, and living life well in the tank. The plants, for the majority, are all doing well in the tank. But my staghorn algae problem has come back. Last time I had it, I did do a hydrogen peroxide treatment for it, which did help give the plants a fighting chance, with the exception of my Hygrophila pinnatophyta, which you don't see in the tank anymore, because I think through a combination of leaving the hydrogen peroxide on it too long and leaving it out of the water too long, I ended up losing all of that plant. I've decided this time not to try to fight it with any hydrogen peroxide or anything like that. I'm just going to see if it runs its course. I am possibly going to remove the large crypts towards the back of the tank and replace them with some more stem plants, just to see if that helps a little bit more in the long run. So now the bad news. A while back, it's been a few months at this point, I discovered I had a little bit of a Planaria infestation going on in the tank. I managed to trap a good number of them. I reduced feeding and allowed some of the guppies to even pick some of them off, which seemed to work out for quite a long time. I haven't really seen any issues cropping up until recently. I started noticing my shrimp population seemed to not be as large around feeding time, and then eventually one day when my oldest female guppy in this tank died, I went to pull out the body, and when I put it into a separate container, it was almost completely covered in Planaria. Which at that point, then I knew I had a major issue on my hands. You could see that a lot of the Planaria in this shot were almost looking completely blue. I remember a while back seeing actually an interesting picture that Chris Lukop had posted on his Instagram of Planaria that have turned the different colors of the shrimp that they were eating, be it yellow, red, blue. So seeing that with mine is actually a pretty good confirmation that they were eating the shrimp. I've noticed less and less shrimp in the tank, and I thought they were all completely pretty much gone. But at this point, I did notice at least 2, maybe hopefully 3 survivors. So the plan is to go ahead and do a water change on this tank today, get it really cleaned up a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and dose some fenbendazole. This is Panicure C dog dewormer. So I'll go ahead and put some work in on the tank, and then we'll check back in when it's time to start dosing the tank. Alright, so the water change is done, and now I'm just going to go ahead and prep the Panicure to put in the tank. So I got the 3-pack of Panicure that comes in 1-gram pouches, and in order to dose it for aquariums, you're supposed to do 0.1 grams per 10 gallons. So I have a little gram scale here that I can go ahead and turn on and make sure it's working right. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and weigh out 0.1 grams of the Panicure. I'm just gonna mix in some water into it just to break it up a little bit before I put it into the tank, and just to make sure I get everything out of here. This is kind of like chemistry class all over again. Now I'll just go ahead and dump this here into the tank. So a couple minutes in, you can see there's still some of the Panicure that has not dissolved in the tank. But the water is cloudy. You can see most of it has dissolved. So now I'm just gonna let this treatment run in here for about 48 hours, and we'll check back, see if I see any dead Planaria hanging around. If I see any live ones, I'll probably do another dose. Actually, I'll probably go ahead and do a second dose anyways, just to make sure. And then at that point, we'll check in and do a good gravel vac of the tank, which in this case will probably require removing a lot of the hardscape, so we'll see. Funny enough, there's actually one Planaria crawling on the glass back there. So he'll be the guinea pig. We'll see if he starts showing any signs of being affected by it. But we'll check back.
The following Thursday.
So a few days and 3 doses of fenbendazole later, the 8-gallon Cobalt aquarium appears to be free of all the Planaria. After the initial first 2 doses, I noticed some Planaria were still alive, although struggling. So I did go ahead and dose a 3rd time, just to be sure that I got them all. The remaining 2 or 3 royal blue tiger shrimp that were left in the tank did not seem to be affected by the treatment at all. And the guppies begged for food the whole time, so I'm guessing they fared well too. I did hold back on feeding the tank while the treatment was going on, just to minimize any potential parameter swings or ammonia spikes from the dying Planaria. I had read that ram's horn snails and bladder snails are unaffected by the fenbendazole treatment, but I did keep an eye on them just to be sure. Apparently it does affect Malaysian trumpet snails, but it looks like all the ones that were in this tank are gone. I think the Planaria outcompeted them, so I didn't have anything to worry about there. Although I'm confident I got them all with the last dose, I'll be keeping a close eye on the tank throughout the next couple of weeks, just to make sure that I don't see any of the Planaria spring back up, and hopefully, if they do, I'll catch them much quicker this time.